Alright, I'm going to show you guys how to use the video analysis tools on Logger Pro. First things first, anytime we decide to record any particular motion, you're going to get some sort of movie file. Okay. First step, anytime we're going to insert a movie, is you can't use the open files on Logger Pro. You have to go to the Insert menu and say Insert Movie. Now I have saved a movie in a particular folder, but if you didn't save it there, you might have to go to like My Computer and locate the device that you plug in. For example, like if you have an iPod plugged in, you might have to go down to the USB device, or it might actually say iPod on it, whether or not it's yours or one of ours. You're going to have to locate that and then go ahead and open up the file, okay, or the movie. You're actually inserting the movie. Now, one other thing is most of the time it has to be one of these types of files, either a movie file, an AVI, an MPEG, or a WAV file. Okay, most of the time we'll use the movie file. So when I insert the movie, what happens is I'm going to get a window that pops up that is just a movie player. Okay, if you look down here at the bottom, there's options to play the movie. So if I go ahead and play it, oh, there's a little car that goes flying by. Okay. Along with this, you can go ahead and you can frame forward, or you can pull along the bottom to get to a certain part of the video. For example, like once I get to, say, that piece of blue tape right there, I can go ahead and mark forward. I can go frame by frame forward. I can also go frame by frame backwards. Okay. Now, we have this video in here, but what we ultimately want is, let's say we want to determine the speed of this car. Okay, so over here, down in the bottom right-hand corner, there's this three little red dots here. If I click on this, I get some tools that come up. Okay, and these tools are vitally important for analyzing a video. The very first thing that you have to understand on these particular videos is how far is something in the picture. You have to be able to set a scale. Without it, the computer has no idea how big this object is or how big this is. So you always need something in the picture that you know the set distance for. So like if I were to measure between this post hole and this post hole on the lab stations, I would be able to set a scale. Okay, so if I come up here, let me see, this would be the fourth button down. It looks like a little ruler, and if I put the cursor over it, it'll say set scale. So if I click on that, all I'm going to do is click and drag from one post hole to the other. And what it's going to ask me is, well, what is that distance? Well, I measured it. It's about 0.7 meters or 70 centimeters. And I hit OK. And that's all you have to do now, because now it knows that this direction is about 70 centimeters. Now, some people will ask, does it need to be the total length of the distance that you're traveling? Absolutely not. If you just want, if the particular object was going to travel the entire length of the table, just by setting this length, it'll know what the extra little parts are over here and over here. It has the ability to do that. So you just have to measure something that is known. Oftentimes it's very nice to measure the height of a person in certain videos. Okay. The other thing we have to do is we have to set the origin. The third button down says set origin. And what happens here is you get a little cursor. When I click on the middle, it sets up some axes. Okay, now you have the ability to click and drag and move the axes anywhere you would like. Okay, most of the time I think it's best if you have the vehicle or the object traveling along one of the axes. If it's a horizontal motion, you want it traveling along the x-axis. If it was something that was falling, put the y-axis on top of it. Okay. The other thing is you have the choice to make it either move into the positive positions, or if you want, you can set it over here, and now it's in the negative x and it's moving towards the origin. It doesn't really matter. Most of the time I like to choose the first quadrant here, because then it's all positive and I am an optimist. Okay? So once I get that set, now I have the ability to go ahead and start plotting points. Now, one other little feature that I'd like to mention. This video, if you look down here, it's quite a ways into the video already. But I want this to be the first point on my graph, because I'm going to find out how fast it's going from when it hits this blue tape until the end. Okay, because of that, I need to go ahead and find what time the video is starting, and I want to set that equal to 0 on my graph. So down here, this other button, if I hold the cursor over it, eventually, and maybe it won't say it, it says sync graph or movie synchronization. Now if you look up here, it'll tell me graph time 3.8 seconds, movie time 3.8 seconds. I don't want my graph time to be 3.8 seconds. I want it to be 0 seconds. Now it means the first data point that I plot will be at 3.8 seconds on the movie, but at 0 on my graph. So I go ahead and I hit OK. Second button down says add points. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to start tracing the vehicle. Now I would always recommend that you pick something that's easily identifiable. For example, on this video, the wheel well of this car is pretty visible. So I'm going to line it up so that it's right in the middle, and I click. Now you'll notice that the car moved forward a frame. So I'm going to recenter the cursor, and I'm going to click. And then I'm going to recenter the cursor and click. So all I'm doing is I'm tracing one spot on this particular object as it moves through time. Okay? So I'm only going to do a few of these here. I won't do the entire motion. But I'm trying to get lined up in the same spot every time. Okay. And by the way, as long as something's moving at a fairly constant velocity or a constant acceleration, you don't have to really measure it for the entire amount of time, but you want to get a good amount of stuff here. Okay. But I've probably done about enough there. If I go and look at the graph that's behind it, you'll see that I've gotten a couple different things. Number one, you'll notice that my time is 0, 0, which is good. That's what it should be. But I've got two different lines, one of which says X and one of which says Y. Well, keeping in mind that in that video, okay, the car is moving along the X-axis, I don't care about the Y because it's not moving up and down, it's moving left to right. Therefore, I'm going to go ahead and just select X on this axis. Now you'll notice this is a nice straight line, which tells me that my particular object in this case was moving at a constant velocity. And if I go ahead and I fit the line to it, the slope of my position versus time graph will tell me just how fast this particular object was moving. And in this case, it turns out to be roughly 0.36 meters per second. So that particular vehicle was traveling at 36 centimeters per second with a pretty good correlation, so I traced it pretty darn well. Okay, so that is the basics of how to use video analysis. This is going to be the first lab that you do. I'm going to give you a car and I'm going to say you need to be able to find the speed of the car. Okay, so make sure that you're ready for that.